Empaths often find themselves in a perplexing situation, feeling deeply connected yet painfully isolated. In social settings, they may sense the emotional currents swirling around them, leaving them anxious and overwhelmed. This heightened sensitivity can create a feeling of being out of place, as if they are observing life from a distance rather than fully participating. Compounding this struggle, manipulative individuals may exploit their empathetic nature, further alienating them from supportive relationships. As they navigate these emotional minefields, the question looms: how can they reclaim their sense of belonging in a world that often feels hostile? Overwhelming need to help others. Empaths often possess an overwhelming need to help others, driven by their innate sensitivity to the emotions and struggles of those around them. This selfless nature can lead them to prioritize others' needs above their own, often at great personal expense. While their desire to assist can foster deep connections and provide invaluable support to friends and family, it can also result in significant emotional and physical burnout. Empaths may find themselves constantly giving, without receiving the same level of care in return, making them susceptible to exploitation by individuals who recognize and take advantage of their compassionate tendencies. This dynamic can create a cycle where the empath feels obligated to help, leading to feelings of guilt or inadequacy if they fail to meet others' expectations. As a result, they may neglect their own well-being, leading to chronic stress and emotional fatigue. The pressure to be perpetually available can further exacerbate feelings of overwhelm, as they struggle to balance their own needs with the demands placed upon them by others. This situation highlights the importance of self-awareness and the need for empaths to establish healthy boundaries to protect their emotional health. Ignoring personal problems. Empaths often find themselves prioritizing the needs and problems of others over their own, a selfless tendency that can leave them vulnerable to exploitation. When an empath consistently puts the well-being of those around them first, they may neglect their own personal issues, allowing them to fester and grow more severe. This pattern of ignoring one's own difficulties in favor of assisting others can create an imbalance in the empath's life, leading to increased stress, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion. As empaths are highly attuned to the emotions and struggles of those they care about, they may feel compelled to offer support and guidance, even at the expense of their own healing and growth. However, this tendency can attract individuals who recognize and take advantage of the empath's kindness, seeking emotional support without reciprocating. Over time, this one-sided dynamic can drain the empath's resources, both emotional and physical, while perpetuating the cycle of neglecting their personal needs. Trying to break free from this pattern, empaths must learn to balance their compassion for others with self-care, setting boundaries and prioritizing their own well-being alongside that of their loved ones. By addressing their own issues with the same empathy and dedication they show to others, empaths can maintain a healthier equilibrium and avoid becoming targets for those who would exploit their generous nature. Feeling responsible for others' emotions. Empaths often grapple with a profound sense of responsibility for the emotions of those around them. This tendency can compel them to apologize or take blame, even when they are not at fault, creating a pattern that can be detrimental to their emotional well-being. Their innate sensitivity allows them to pick up on the feelings of others, leading them to feel accountable for resolving conflicts or alleviating discomfort. This can manifest as a constant need to smooth over tensions, often at the expense of their own feelings and needs. Unfortunately, this characteristic makes empaths prime targets for manipulation by individuals who recognize their empathetic nature. Toxic people may exploit this trait, knowing that empaths will likely prioritize harmony and take on the emotional burdens of others, regardless of the situation. Difficulty setting boundaries. Empaths often experience significant difficulty in setting personal boundaries, which can lead to others crossing lines without consequence. This struggle stems from their heightened sensitivity to the emotions and needs of those around them, making it challenging to assert their own limits. Empaths may feel a deep-seated obligation to accommodate others, often prioritizing their feelings and desires over their own. This tendency can result in a lack of assertiveness, where saying no feels like an emotional burden rather than a necessary act of self-care. Consequently, empaths may find themselves in situations where they are taken advantage of, as manipulative individuals recognize their reluctance to enforce boundaries. The inability to establish clear limits can lead to emotional exhaustion, as empaths continuously give of themselves without receiving adequate support in return. Moreover, the fear of disappointing others or jeopardizing relationships can further complicate their ability to set boundaries. Over time, this can create a cycle of self-neglect, where the empath's own needs are consistently sidelined. Understanding the importance of boundaries is crucial for empaths, as it allows them to maintain their emotional well-being while still offering support to others without losing themselves in the process. Emotional exhaustion. Constantly absorbing the emotions of others can lead to significant emotional exhaustion for empaths. This phenomenon occurs as they deeply connect with the feelings and struggles of those around them, often leaving them feeling drained after social interactions. Empaths have a unique ability to sense and internalize the emotional states of others, which can be both a gift and a burden. When they engage with individuals who are experiencing pain or negativity, they may inadvertently take on that emotional weight, leading to fatigue and a sense of being overwhelmed. This emotional contagion can create a cycle where the empath feels compelled to help, yet finds themselves increasingly depleted. Frequent fatigue after interactions serves as a warning sign that their empathic nature is being exploited by those who may not reciprocate the same level of care. As they prioritize the emotional needs of others, their own well-being often falls by the wayside, resulting in a lack of self-care and personal fulfillment. Over time, this pattern can escalate into chronic stress and burnout, making it crucial for empaths to recognize these signs and take proactive steps to protect their emotional health while still offering support to others. Attracting negative people. Empaths frequently find themselves surrounded by individuals who drain their energy or introduce negativity into their lives. This pattern often arises from their natural inclination to be compassionate and supportive, drawing in those who may be emotionally needy or toxic. The empath's ability to sense and absorb the feelings of others makes them particularly susceptible to attracting negative people who can exploit their kindness and sensitivity. These individuals may take advantage of the empath's willingness to help, leading to a one-sided dynamic where the empath feels overwhelmed and depleted. As empaths prioritize the emotional needs of others, they may inadvertently neglect their own well-being, allowing negative energy to seep into their lives. This can result in emotional and psychological harm, as they become entangled in the problems of those around them without receiving adequate support in return. Feeling overwhelmed in crowded places. Empaths often experience feelings of anxiety and overwhelm in crowded places, which can be indicative of their heightened sensitivity to the emotions around them. In social settings, they may absorb the feelings of others, leading to a sense of being inundated by a variety of emotional energies. This phenomenon can create an overwhelming atmosphere, where the empath feels not only their own emotions but also the collective emotional state of the crowd. As a result, they may become fatigued, anxious, or even panicked in these situations, struggling to find a sense of calm amidst the emotional chaos. This heightened sensitivity can make social gatherings feel like an emotional minefield, where the empath is constantly on alert for negative or draining energies. Unfortunately, this vulnerability can lead to being taken advantage of by those who are aware of the empath's compassionate nature. Individuals who thrive on attention or neediness may gravitate towards empaths, seeking their emotional support without regard for the empath's well-being. Frequent apologies for things that are not one's fault can be a hallmark of an empath's personality, reflecting their deep-seated tendency to take on the emotional burdens of others. This behavior often stems from a desire to maintain harmony and avoid conflict, leading empaths to feel responsible for the feelings and reactions of those around them. As they navigate interpersonal relationships, empaths may instinctively apologize to diffuse tension, even when they are not at fault. This compulsive need to seek forgiveness can create a pattern where empaths feel that their worth is tied to their ability to placate others. Unfortunately, this trait can make them vulnerable to manipulation, as individuals who recognize this tendency may exploit it to avoid accountability for their own actions. Toxic individuals may leverage the empath's apologetic nature, knowing that the empath will prioritize peace over asserting their own needs or feelings. Over time, this dynamic can erode the empath's self-esteem, leading them to question their own perceptions and feelings. The cycle of unwarranted apologies can result in emotional exhaustion, as the empath continuously sacrifices their own well-being to accommodate the emotional landscapes of others, leaving them feeling depleted and undervalued. Struggling with self-care. Empaths often struggle with prioritizing their own self-care, as their innate desire to help and support others can lead them to neglect their own needs. This selfless nature can be both a blessing and a curse, as empaths find immense fulfillment in caring for those around them, but at the same time they may find it challenging to set boundaries and take time for themselves. When an empath consistently puts the well-being of others before their own, they may find themselves physically and emotionally drained, with little energy left to devote to their own self-care practices. This pattern can be exacerbated by those who rely on the empath's empathy, taking advantage of their willingness to help without reciprocating the same level of care and support. As empaths strive to meet the needs of others, they may find themselves neglecting basic self-care activities such as rest, relaxation, and personal growth. Over time, this lack of self-care can lead to burnout, resentment, and a diminished sense of self-worth. To break this cycle, empaths must learn to set boundaries, prioritize their own well-being, and surround themselves with individuals who respect their needs and support their self-care journey. Feeling like you don't belong. Empaths often grapple with feelings of not belonging in various social situations, leading to a profound sense of isolation. This disconnection can stem from their heightened sensitivity to the emotions of others, making it difficult for them to relate to those who do not share their empathetic nature. Out in crowded or unfamiliar environments, empaths may feel overwhelmed by the emotional energy around them, which can intensify their feelings of alienation. This sense of being out of place can be exacerbated by manipulative individuals who prey on the empath's sensitivity, further alienating them from supportive relationships. Such individuals may exploit the empath's caring nature, creating a toxic dynamic that reinforces the empath's feelings of inadequacy and isolation.